Forced to work from home by your employer? Laid off or feeling depressed at home? Do you want to make money working from anywhere? We'll show you how to do it from your couch. It's time for another episode of the Work From Home Show. Coming to you from their homes in Austin, Texas and Tampa, Florida, here are your hosts, Adam and Naresh.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Work From Home Show. I'm Naresh, this with Adam Schrader, and today we have Bob Fisch on as our special guest. He is the former CEO of leading clothing retailer Rue 21 during the 90s and 2000s, and author of the new best-selling book, Fisch Tales, The Making of a Millennial Baby Boomer. And this book is very relevant to millennials and baby boomers who now have to work together from home or who have to live together. A lot of millennials move back in with their parents. Bob Fisch is recognized as a pioneering merchant for his bold and successful innovations in value-priced fast fashion retailing, notably at Rue 21, obviously. In 2009, he took the company from bankruptcy to a fast-track winning streak that included a hot stock IPO, building a national network of 1,200 stores and $1 billion-plus valuation. Wow. Fisch carved out a niche within the competitive fast fashion market, restructuring Rue 21 in the early 2000s, resulting in the company going toe-to-toe with giants such as Forever 21 and H&M, very giant-like competitors. So, without further ado, Bob Fisch, welcome to the Work From Home Show.
Hey guys, glad to be on your show.
I want to start the discussion. I read out your bio so people understand who you are, but I want to start with failure, because right now, really, or since early to mid 2020, it's been a time of deep strife, failure, sadness, tragedy. So I actually want to start with that. And as I said in your bio, you went through some failures. You went through a bankruptcy of Rue 21. What did you learn from the failures and the bankruptcy?
Well, to me, I never look at things as failures. I look at things as opportunities for the future, even as you talk about being towards the end of 2020, and we can get into that later. I don't look at this as a bad year. I look at it as a great learning experience for young people and older people. As far as Rue 21, what I did is I took over a business and reformatted it and refounded it. So it was called Pennsylvania Fashions. It was looking like it was going to go out of business. And what I did is I took over the company. I brought in some key people that had been in big businesses that really had an attitude of not just wanting to be pedigree, but to really want to build something and get their hands dirty, because that's what you have to do if you're going to turn something around. And I thought there was a great ownable niche of going after a value business in malls and in also of value malls, in addition to regular malls, and also strip center business that would be right for Rue. And so to me is that, I moved from, I was in Connecticut and then Miami, and I moved to Pittsburgh. And so, because I was dedicated that I felt I could turn the business around. I didn't realize that maybe it would become $1 billion plus business, but I did know that I could make it big. And we ended up, solidifying our business. I took it into bankruptcy and in 2002, about 6 months after I started. But that was the seed to success, guys, because I was able to move forward in the right direction. And then we never missed an estimate for 11 straight years as a high growth company in sales and profit.
So having that, what was the, you talk about taking it into bankruptcy and then coming out and just, tearing through everything. What allowed you to kind of make that big shift, that big change?
Well, what the situation was is that, first of all, you have to put things on the line. And that's something that when you talk about, failures or things that didn't work out, and if you go through my book and people do that, you'll see many times where people said, "Oh, I don't think you could do this." I had a time in my career where people said, "You'll never get into sportswear. You'll always be in men's or boys," and obviously that wasn't happening. And so I get back not at people, but at taking action. And what I did with Rue was that, I took a stand and sat with the equity guys in the banks. And I said, look, I hired 7 key management people, which they were really surprised and impressed by. Why would they want to come to this company? I said, because we're going to turn it around and make it great. And I gave them the reasons why. And we had an ownable niche. And you have to put it on the line and take a chance to build something. My whole career has been a disruptor of putting things on the line. So I did, and I gave them what we were going to do, and we far outpaced and overachieved what that was. And every time that happens, even in bankruptcy, which was only a year, we were paying out bonuses. We were getting factor money, terms from factors, and we were building something for the future. So, that was one step that, I think it's putting it on the line and not being afraid. But you got to be careful. You can't just shoot from the hip. You put it on the line because you have something that you're really going to make happen. You better be sure you're going to make it happen if you're going to put it on the line.
With regard to your bankruptcy and the clothing industry in general, back in the early 2000s, I guess, post.com, once people started being introduced to the internet. And then now today, with this post-pandemic lockdown, social distancing, retail industry, commercial real estate just going out of business. I want you to talk about why Rue 21 struggled to adapt post.com, and then also what you think the future is of the retail clothing industry now that it's really everything has gone online and digital.
Well, you're going over a lot of different things. First of all, when even the online business was starting to develop, when it was basically also when there was a recession in 2008 and 9 and then ending in 2010. That's when Rue 21 opened up 100 to 125 stores a year. So we were fearless when people said, don't take a chance to do that. We were absolutely right. I believe when things are the toughest is when there are opportunities. So we really started to build. You got to understand, this was a company that I did put into bankruptcy with every intention of really building on it. And so the equity guys came back into the business, and then we in 2009 went public. We were $2 billion oversold in stock and whatever, and with investors, and we really built it. And then in 2013 we went private, and I sold the business for over $1 billion. In struggles, I did leave the company at the end of 2016. It was just right timing for me to leave the equity guys and go on to different things, and not that we have to get into that, but what Rue went through some problems after I left, but Rue right now is not struggling and surviving. We were opening up so many stores that I didn't go into the internet business until about 4 years before I left, and we were building it to a huge business, but not everybody was opening 100 stores a year. I'm also on the board of directors of a company called Ollie's. And they're doing extremely well. It's a company that I helped taking public in 2015. It was worth about $1 billion. It's now worth almost $6 billion. They don't even have an internet business. So it depends what it is. So .com was not what affected a Rue or anything like that. It was more TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Burlington, Ross stores of competitiveness of value businesses that can affect stores like Rue.
So what do you think about the retail? I mean, we've heard about like the retail apocalypse. and all of that. Do you think the future is going to be all online, or do you think kind of the stores will make a comeback? What are your thoughts on that?
I can't stand that term about retail apocalypse because it's really, it's like, people just come out with words and that's what we all hear. And I do speak a lot about that at conferences and meetings. And when they bring it up, I go, wait a second. There's going to be an evolution of things. But first of all, retailing in store has been an 88% of the business. Obviously, it's not that now. We're in the middle of a pandemic. But I still believe that store business will outweigh the online business, but it's a blending of both. And it's a blending of that plus also getting into more social media now and the importance of that. And it depends on your business. If you're a legacy company and don't change, like companies like Macy's, then maybe they're going to have a hard time staying in business. You have to adjust and adapt. But to me, I don't believe businesses are going away. I think you see people like David Simon of Simon Group that has just bought JCPenney's, bought Forever 21, bought Aeropostale, bought Brooks Brothers, and has come up and thinks of a formula to go after the business. And so I don't think it's going away. I think that stores have to be careful how many stores they have. Look, Rue built to over 1,200 plus stores when I was there, which was the largest specialty apparel retailer in store count in America. And as while we were looking to grow more, I think that now in the world, that's a tough thing. And Rue has cut back stores since I've been there, which was probably smart to do. But no, I think it's new businesses, whether it's businesses of renting businesses or businesses of resale are very important. But at the same time, I think it's still going to be, once pandemic is over, you'll still get people wanting to go shop stores in addition to online.
I'm just wondering, though, Bob, can these stores make it? 2020 has been rough. 2021 is looking very rough. Will they even have the liquidity or the capital to pay their rent in these big malls or whatever retail shopping complex they're in? Can they even make it to 2022, 2023?
Well, it's a good question, but some will and some won't. But it's how you adjust and how you work with these landlords and developers. You work out deals. You work out deals where they need you. You have to act like look, I get nervous of mom and pop stores like that. And obviously people need stimulus packages and things like that. But as far as what you're talking about is that I believe you work out deals with people in that, look, as I said, Route 21 happens to be doing very well right now. They're one of the few people that are looking to build for the future, and that because they have an ownable niche of going after certain malls and definitely strip center businesses. And a lot of people like Forever 21 are getting hurt, and Charlotte Russe, went out of business and then's trying to come back. And I could go with Payless Shoes. So there's an ownable niche, so you might as well go after it. And so there's some people that are still aggressive that. My company, Ollie's, is having a tremendous success. They're having the best year they ever had. So, and it's an ownable need. If you look at certain other people, look at Walmart, look at Target, and they're doing greater than ever. Target and Walmart just reported their results. And obviously it's pandemic partly driven, but Target had 155% increase online, but they also picked up 10% in store. So Walmart picked up 5% in store and 79% online. So people are shopping. I think there's going to be some people squashed out, yes. And I think you have to have the right ownable niche to go after it. And probably some people will get hurt. But I don't believe that retailing is going away. And a pandemic, yes, I think 2021 is still going to be tough. And then maybe it's the roaring 20s in 2022.
Yeah, just my personal commentary regarding Walmart and Target, really Walmart. I don't think that's a good comparison because Walmart is this superpower that sells everything made under the sun. I mean, if you want to go there to buy some milk, you can go get that. But then if you want to go buy ammo for your gun, you can also do that there. And then if you want to buy flowers for your wife, you could do that. And if you need to go buy basketball shoes, you can get those there as well. you can get so much over there, and that's what makes it so convenient. Whereas in the retail space, at least in the clothing space, they're not selling milk and ammo and other items that you would get in Walmart. So that's why I would expect, and I predicted even before all this, that Walmart would continue to get bigger, but that Amazon would also, really Walmart and Amazon are the two companies that I predicted to continue to just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Just kind of, what are your thoughts on all that and that comparison?
Well, I do agree with you. I think that they will get bigger and bigger, but there's other companies that are doing really well too. You have companies like Five Below, which caters to, I guess, a Gen Z and younger, and they now have 1,000, 1,200 stores, and will be 2,500 stores. The stock's going through the roof. You have Ulta, which is really strong. That's going to maintain. Obviously, Lululemon his stock is crazy and through the roof, and I believe that they'll keep going strong, especially with casual wear being so important, not only for girls or guys. Yes, are people like J. Crew going to have it tough? Probably. But Madewell is really what J. Crew was, and that's what Mickey Drexler really built to build Madewell. But why is people like, my question back to you is, even why are people like David Simon and there's a couple of other people that are tying in and thinking that they can buy retailers and do well? Part of it, I think, is because that they're giving them unbelievable rent deals that are not putting the pressure on. So David Simon's not a stupid guy. He's a friend of mine, and he's a very smart guy, and they're taking some risks and stuff like that. But I think a big risk is JCPenney's more than some of the others. But they're taking leverage of a problem away. But what they're also doing is leveraging all their imports from all those different companies, as far as being able to buy yarns and fabrics and put it up into different styles and get great prices. Because if you add up JCPenney's, Forever 21, Aeropostale, and companies like that, and Brooks Brothers, they're all different items, but the fabrications are not different. So I think that's a new way of looking at retailing that some people don't think about. It's not the way I was brought up about it. But my mind is what's the newness? And I think that, I could probably mention even more stores, but yes, there will be some people that are going to be hurt. Is Kohl's going to be okay? I don't know, but I do see a thriving TJ's and Ross and Marshalls and Burlington for a long time, and obviously that's like the Walmarts, as you mentioned, and so, but there probably would be a suffering of some stores in the middle. So I don't think it's all gloom and doom. I think it's cash flow key, making sure that people are controlling their inventories more than ever, which they're doing. And so, my posture is that look for opportunities in tough times.
Yeah, and regarding David Simon, look, first off, I'm not an expert in this space, so I'm not as knowledgeable. But my guess is that David Simon got amazing deals on these assets, especially when a company like JCPenney filed for bankruptcy. He probably just picked up these assets for super cheap, and so he'll figure out what to do with them and how best to run them. That's just what my guess is. But your quick thoughts on a company that I was following, because at first I didn't really understand what they were doing. Then I thought they were understand what he was doing, not them, but really he. And that's Eddie Lampert and Sears. do you have, because it was way more intricate, the financing, the strategy. This was not your typical, retail entrepreneur trying to sell clothing. He kind of had this elaborate scheme per se, which it looked like didn't work, or maybe it did work. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it did work out for him. But what was going on there?
Well, I think your last comment is totally accurate. It worked out for him.
Yeah.
You know, I you know, no one's looking to really buy Kmart and Sears stores that are left, or whatever, but that's a 20-year plus problem. That I just think that it became a real estate play deal with him. And I'm not as versed in that as some of the other ones that I mentioned. And, and I think that, I don't know if it's great to say, but that it's taking up a lot of valuable real estate. None of the developers that I know they don't worry about losing any more of those stores in business. They're happy to lose those stores to go into new ventures. And so to come up with new ideas in centers. What's happening in centers is, which Rue had to take a different course going forward, is the valued strip centers of the C-rated malls and are going to have a tough time being around, because, they're just not getting a lot of retailers going in there or different businesses. Whereas the bigger malls that Simon has, he just bought Taubman too. So he's like buying up the world. So hopefully that'll be okay. So I see that those are in trouble. But, as I watch a Route 21, and look, I'm really happy, even though I'm not involved in it as running it, I'm very happy to see them being successful again, as they were when I had the company for 16 years and built it, because they're going after new businesses. They're really rebuilding their online business stronger. They're going after plus sizes stronger, which is a very important business of that. And they have an ownable niche of going after centers where the competition is cut back. I think when Rue was really building crazily successful, we were just taking over, because the stores like the Gap and Express and Limited and those types and Aeropostale were not doing well. When I took the company public, I was told by the investors and analyst guys, like, well, be like the 3As, American Eagle, Abercrombie, and Aeropostale. And I said, well, why do I want to do that? If I do that, there's no need for me. And they go, well, they're really doing well. Well, not all of them are doing well. And some are surviving, but the point is you have to have an ownable niche. And my ownable niche was really going after sports where, men's and women's apparel and accessories, and building the largest fragrant business and specialty apparel businesses in a value business. And it was an ownable niche. So I think some of these places that companies are doing that. And the difference is now is the real estate deals that people like Simon or Jamie Salters is doing are really good. And I guess they're looking at retailing differently. But so it's definitely, overstored, but I do believe that the right companies will still succeed.
Now, you talk about having the ownable niche. How did you, doing it back then, and how do you think people nowadays can actually kind of evaluate what they have to find out what their ownable niche can be?
Well, first of all, what we're not talking about, which we should, is what makes a successful company. And it's all about people. Okay. And what's happening is we get lost in that now. And just like, talking about working from home versus working from office, and everybody is zooming ahead in Zoom and no decisions are really made on Zoom. Okay. And when you have a lot of people in a call, to me, it's a different world out there. And to me, it's an ownable niche where, I think that people make the difference, and it's how people lead companies makes the difference. And if you look at the people right now, look at Estee Lauder. Do you know how much they're worth right now today?
No idea.
No idea.
$90 billion. Okay? The stock's at 250. When Federico Frida took over the business 11 years ago, I want to say only, they were only a $7 billion company. That's why the Lauder family can have somebody in the outsider in there, because they've taken a business that was worth about 7 or 10 billion to 90 billion in 10 years. Okay, they have gone after diversifying on different things. So they're not obviously a big retailing business only, but manufacturing. But they do have retail companies too. But they've recreated themselves, and it's not just all about fragrances or something like that and perfumes. And so it's all different things in beauty products and facial products. But they have taken a company, and he has done it, but he's also done it by building with young people. And that's also important to discuss about that, people's new ideas. And what I see is what built Rue, like what happened, and obviously Estee Lauder is the kingpin of it, but built Rue is I had 20,000 people working for me, and 90% of them were under 35. And in the home office of the 400 people, 75% were 20 to 30 years old. I taught them business. They taught me life. And they really come up with great vision and creativity in addition to technology. And I needed to help them take it to fruition. And that's what it is. And I think we've lost sight of people coming up with things because we're such a tight control world, because, as you said, with people not having money and not having cash flow and surviving, that people are stuck and not coming up with newness. And I think the right leadership that's authentic, that takes a stand and knows what they're talking about, and then developing with younger people makes a difference. That's a whole other subject, guys.
Bob, with regard to this retail space, the clothing industry, do you think they can take technology and working from home more seriously? Is there any room for that?
It depends what the business is, to me. When you're talking about Google and Facebook and things like that, and Instagrams and whatever, and Amazons, maybe, definitely yes. But when you're talking about businesses that were created where working in an office environment is important, I've learned, and I'm learning even more now, because you have to always reinvent yourself. Look, I'm reinventing myself from being a major retailer for 40 years to then being an author, published author of Forbes, but also being retail analyst, being on TV, radio, doing different things, and which we haven't even gotten into. But the point is that, I think that, there's big opportunities out there. And I think that people need to just recreate things and come up with things. And I think there can be success.
One of the things that your books talks about, that your new book talks about, is kind of the cultural clashing, I believe, between some of the generations. Do you think the work from home movement is going to help or hurt that whole trying to merge the generations?
See, I look at work from home. I am not a major advocate of everybody working from home, because I think it's really hard to mentor people, which is really important. And you can't put your arm around them. You don't have, you can't have a Zoom meeting and then talking to somebody, or when there's a break in the Zoom meeting, talk to people. Zoom meetings are so official. Like when I have a Millennial Advisory Board, and I have a Millennial Advisory Board salon that I have every month. I started out by asking people what's going on in their lives in the last month, and what is important that can affect business and life. Not just, okay, we have an hour meeting and that's it. I believe that it is very hard to have leadership and very hard people working at home. The leaders above have to make sure they have individual sessions and calls with the people working at home. Otherwise, they can get dissatisfied. And I'm not just talking about Google and Facebook, but if you're talking about whether it's Rue 21 or Forever 21 or anything like that, I believe that social distancing and isolation is not going to be great for the future. That's my belief.
Your book, by the way, we have Bob Fisch on. He's a former CEO of Rue 21, author of Fisch Tales, The Making of a Millennial Baby Boomer. Bob, what is a millennial baby boomer?
Great question. Everybody always asks that, and it's really not hard. It's somebody who erases barriers and ignores age gap. I'm all about that. Look, everybody was 25 years old once, okay? And baby boomers who are now 60 or 65 were baby boomers at 25. And so what it is a blending where it's not your age, it's what your mindset is and what your lifestyle and thinking is. And that you guys, if you're, say, millennials, can have aspects of being a baby boomer, and baby boomers have aspects of millennials. And I try to pull it together called mutual mentoring. And I believe it's really important because, you know, in business, forget politics, because they don't even listen who are older. The lifeblood of our future, especially because of a pandemic and what's going on, is through the youth of America. And so to me, it's working with young people, like I said, teaching them to take their creativity to fruition and making it happen. And I think that's really important. And I'm a very big believer in reverse mentoring, where you have young people. I'm working with a school, FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology, putting some programs together with them on reverse mentoring, where young people are telling the people running businesses what they need to look at and do. And I think that's important. And I think that while we talk about dollars and cents and who's going to make it, I think we also have to talk about the structure of people. And that's what my book is all about, because for my success was because of my people and how you then lead them and taking charge and being authentic. Because you got authentic people and you got robotic leaders, and as you know, we don't have to get into who those people are, but there's people that really care about their people first before themselves, and then there's people on the opposite side that only care about themselves. And so I think that building that way is key. So whether you're working from home or working in the office, I believe that that's really important.
I like the term millennial baby boomer a lot. Now that you've explained it, I wasn't really sure what that meant when I was going through our notes before the interview. But I say this because I can't stand these classifications of, oh, I'm a millennial, therefore I'm spoiled and I live in my parents' basement and I can't afford a house. Or, oh, I'm a baby boomer and therefore X, Y, and Z. I've worked at the same corporation for the last 40 years. These types of stereotypes, they're not applicable to everyone. I mean, we all have individual rights. We all have our own minds and our own personalities. We're unique, different individuals. But why I like the millennial baby boomer is because it kind of says that it doesn't matter what your age is. All that matters is, you know, do we get along? Can we work together? Can we accomplish something together? And we've had a previous episode where Adam brought up that he homeschools his kids and his kids play soccer with a group of, like, their 70-year-olds who are playing, their 5-year-olds who are playing. Everyone's just kind of all together playing and enjoying and having fun. And I think that's real life. I think if you want to succeed, not just in business, not just in entrepreneurship, but socially, emotionally, you can't just have friends who are your gender or your age or who live in your neighborhood. You have to be willing and open-minded to expose yourself to all types of people, regardless, in your case, regardless of, I guess, age, going off the millennial baby boomer term that you coined. You just have to be very open-minded and just treat people as people.
You couldn't be more right, Naresh. You couldn't be more right about what you're saying and how important that is in building business in addition to your life. You know, by the way, I own the term millennial baby boomer. I own the registration and intellectual property. I use it, own it, and putting it together more for the future. Because, you know, when I was working with Steve Forbes and also Adam Whitty, who runs the book divisions of Forbes Books, you know, it was like there's a big white space opportunity out there because Adam is only 38, and he was like, I didn't even realize that I could be telling the baby boomers what they should be doing. And where it starts at, though, guys, is from the top. The people who are the boomers need to really be open to not being afraid to have the young people helping them. Yes, everybody's got their own idiosyncrasies. And like I said, we were all 25 once. Okay. And you guys are younger, but one day when you're 65, 70, you'll be saying, yes, I was 25 once. And so but and sure, everybody has different attitudes, and young people sometimes think they have all the answers, or young people think if they're not successful by 30, there's something wrong with them. Part of that's from their parents' upbringings with them. Look, the best is yet to come. Takes time. It's pieces of the puzzle, which people don't. The one thing maybe young people don't do is have a lot of patience. And that is something, though, instead of getting down on them, what I used to do is work with them. I have really mentored. The key to life is, first, it's all about people. Number two, it's mentoring people and being mentored. And number three is weaponizing listening, because nobody knows how to do it. Forget any age group. Okay. You could look at the politics of today. Do people listen? So it's not just the young people. We can blame young people for a lot of things, and that's not it. It is our jobs to make them better, whether it's business or politics. There's not a lot of young people in politics. We won't get into that now, but there's a whole thing that I'm working on in reverse mentoring, mutual mentoring on that, because older people in politics don't care about younger people. But I put together programs of having reverse mentoring where young people took leadership in the company in areas of things to help us on because they have great ideas. But you know what? They need help on that, because sometimes they think they have the answers and they don't. But instead of giving up on them, work with them.
How do you get the buy-in that you need from each generation whenever you're talking about doing this mutual mentoring? Because a lot of times, you have to break the divide of what can this, old geezer teach me and what can this young whippersnapper teach me? How do you break that divide?
You know what it starts out with? I hope it's not too corny for you guys. It's really caring about people. Look, I wasn't easy. I was a tough person as a boss, but people knew I cared about them and I wouldn't let them down, and I stood up for things. Look, today, as you see in politics or business, you see too many people passing the buck, blaming everybody else. That's not leadership. That's terrible leadership, okay? Leadership is when you take responsibility. You explain to people why we're doing things, some they're going to like, some they're not going to like, and you take the ownership. And then you be the leader that leads them through it. But you care about your people first before you care about yourself. Hey, you know who's all about that? Guy Gary Vaynerchuk. He's all about that. You guys are familiar with him?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So he's all about that. And he's all about that, it's like he would love to see so he has these young people in Kansas City that he said, I'm going to make them billionaires. Okay. And I'm going to help work and get them to be great at what they do. And I think that should be the beauty of part of us working, is that, and as you get older, to really see that, because to me in my life, it's giving back and seeing people go further than they ever thought they could do in life. And as you know, I'm very passionate about it. But I'm passionate about it because I have a lot of friends 25 to 35 years old, but they teach me life too. They teach me to get out of comfort zones. And so to me, if we sit in comfort zones at any age, so you guys are much younger than me chronologically, probably not mentally, but chronologically. But I learn a lot from young people. So I believe it's caring about people first and not giving up with people, just like you wouldn't with your family. And you have to have tolerance and patience to build with people.
Excellent. That was really good, thorough interview, Bob Fisch. We talked about the retail industry, commercial real estate, as well as baby boomers, or really we should say millennial baby boomers.
That's
and
right.
Your new book, Fisch Tales, The Making of a Millennial Baby Boomer, former CEO of Rue 21 during the 90s and 2000s, just a very well-known, internationally renowned retail executive. The websites are millennialbabyboomer.com. And if you want to check out Rue 21, rue21.com. Bob, any final thoughts you want to share with our listeners, or anything else you want to promote?
Yeah, I would just say that if you want to go to my Instagram, Fischtales, FISCHTALES1, there's some good stuff on there. You've already mentioned the millennialbabyboomer.com site, where you can also, go to stores like Amazon and Target and Walmart and books, Barnes and Noble to get the book. But the only thing I else would say, is I always leave people with the following: is the best is yet to come, no matter what age. You have to have that philosophy and belief. And especially for young people, don't try to rush everything at once. Have tolerance. Put the pieces of the puzzle together to build on something, because guess what? You're going to live to 100. So you could be working for 70 or 80 years. So don't think at the end of 30 or 35, what am I going to do? Have the patience, and the best is yet to come.
Bob Fisch, thanks so much for joining us on the Work From Home Show. To all our listeners, check out our website, workfromhomeshow.com. Get on our mailing list on the website, and we will send you some freebies. Have any questions? Have any thoughts about this interview with Bob? Email us, hello@workfromhomeshow.com. That's hello@workfromhomeshow.com. And until next time, keep on working from home.